So some of my earliest memories of my childhood would start with my family structure. I was born in a small town of Odessa, Texas. My biological parents, and then I have 3 siblings. I have an older sister, an older brother, and a younger sister. My parents had a lot of issues. Mainly, they were alcoholics. I believe that there were drugs involved. We had a 1-bedroom, 1-bath that we all lived in. And I remember, we had the 1-bedroom, my parents had a bed that they slept in, and then us kids we slept on blankets in the corner of the room. And after my little sister was born, she was in a bassinet next to my parents' bed. And somehow she fell out of her bassinet, and they did nothing. They did not get out of bed to help her. And so my brother, who would have been maybe 7 at the time, maybe 8, I remember him going to her and picking her up and rocking her to console her and putting her back in the bassinet. A couple other things that I remember about my living situation is I remember one time we had to move, and the only thing I remember from this is picking up the couch, and then just cockroaches went everywhere. Living in that type of environment for me, again, coming from a 3-4-year-old memory, it was normal. It was scary. I was, a bit afraid of my parents. My older sister said that her teacher at school asked her if something was wrong. And I don't know what my sister told her, but from what my sister believes, that is what started the process of us getting removed from the house. I do vaguely remember the night we were removed from the house. My memory of it was my mom screaming and crying and, don't take my children. I'm not sure where they took us. I just remember the moment of getting into the vehicles and leaving. And that's really all I remember from that night. It was the late 80s, early 90s. You have a family of 4 kids being taken from a home. So from what I've been told, it was a pretty big case down in Texas. And I remember Paula would always be there just to make us feel good about what's happening, and it's okay. You're gonna be taken care of. Knowing Paula gave me hope as a little girl of what life could look like, what life should look like, what a healthy relationship between an adult and a child should look like. And she did give me that hope. I didn't realize it then, but looking back now, I see that. So the first location I remember, again from my memory, was an orphanage. My brother and my sister and I were there. My little sister, I'm not sure where she was at this point. The next house we went to was a foster home, and all 3 of us were there until my brother ended up leaving that location because he has fetal alcohol syndrome. So he ended up going to a home that was specialized for kids who had that need. The last foster home we were at is Donna Mary Martin's, and we loved them. This is myself, my little sister Mary, and my older sister Christina. And this is probably one of the first Christmases I remember because, when I was growing up, I didn't have Christmas until I went into foster care. My little sister got adopted, which was wonderful, but that was the last time I saw her. My sister and I stayed at Donna Mary Martin's until I got adopted. My older sister Christina stayed in Odessa with the Martins at this point. She unfortunately never did get adopted, so she stayed in the system until she was 18 years old. Paula stayed with her the whole time. I thought that was so incredible to find out that Paula was with her until she was 18. So I got adopted. I moved around a little bit with my adopted dad. My dad has made such an impact on my life. With his help, and I remember counseling as a kid. I was able to get through some of this trauma and make it to the other side. After I graduated high school, I went to college, and now I'm a tax accountant. I have a wonderful husband. I now have 3 littles of my own. I also have 3 wonderful stepchildren who are a little bit older but very involved in our lives and in the lives of my children. It's so wonderful. And with my 3 little ones, becoming a mom definitely I had some reflection points on my history. I remember Mary Catherine because she was my first baby, and she turned 3. And I remember, like, she is the age now that I was back then getting taken. And I have all of these memories that are traumatic. And I look at my innocent little 3-year-old daughter, and that's hard for me. But looking at my children, thinking, how could something like that happen to such innocence? That's the part that really gets me. And how this comes full circle, and it's just so fun for me to think about, is that I called my sister. And my sister is really funny, so I tell her I'm on the board of CASA, and she goes, you know, Paula was a CASA, right? And I was like, no. Oh my gosh, Paula was a CASA. Wow, like it all came full circle for me. So what ended up happening, this is really cool, my sister came up to visit, and Paula commented on one of the pictures that my sister posted, and Paula said, who are you visiting? And my sister said, I'm visiting my sister Catherine. And then Paula said, I knew that's who you were visiting because that little girl looks just like her. You know, I don't think that people realize that when you're a child of foster care, people don't know your history. And so to hear somebody say, that looks like Catherine, it meant so much to me. I asked her, you know, what was it like for her? And so what I found out is that our case was her first case. She told me that her report that she wrote was 70 pages long. And I think back on that, and had she not been there to write down everything she saw, to, you know, tell the judge, like, this is what's going on in these little kids' life. Like, what if we got sent back to our parents? What if that information had not been shared because somebody didn't know it? And we had to go back with our family? Like, how different would my life be today? Would I even be here?